Atheus is an intelligence-based tank class hero from the Wilder faction who specializes in tanking and controlling his enemies. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at his skills and abilities, his teams and uses, and whether or not it's worth investing in this hero. So let's get into it. His ultimate ability is Torrent Hunt. For this one, he's going to set a torrential siege towards the area most condensed with enemies, and it's going to deal damage to enemies along the way. Now, when it reaches its target destination, it's going to knock enemies towards the center of it and stun them briefly. Then it's going to create a beast cage, which is going to stun and damage enemies that try to leave it, and once they do leave it, they are going to have their tenacity reduced. His next ability is the passive Spiritwood Blessing, which has two parts to it. The first of which is that he can earn wood protection stacks. With skill ups, this maxes out at 6 stacks. Now, when he receives damage from an attack that exceeds 10% of his max health, he can spend 1 stack of that wood protection to resist the damage. Once he has got a maximum 6 stacks, any further stacks will instead heal him for 5% of his max health. Now, on top of that, this ability also changes his basic attack to alternate between his Oakenshield arm and his staff. Now, when he attacks with his Oakenshield arm, he will gain 1 stack of wood protection, and when he attacks with his staff, he will stun the enemy for half a second. Next, we have Purging Evil. For this one, he's going to deal damage to nearby enemies and inflict them with spiritual stagnation, which is going to reduce the damage they deal. Now, on top of this, whenever he inflicts spiritual stagnation on an enemy, he will receive 1 stack of wood protection. And then we have Nature's Breakthrough. For this one, he's going to hit the ground with his Oakenshield arm and cause wood to break out from the ground, dealing damage to nearby enemies and stunning them for 4 seconds. On top of this, when he does use this ability, he will also receive 3 stacks of wood protection. His signature item skill is Edict of Nature. For this one, when a beast cage exists, normal attack damage by himself and his allies will be increased. Now, at level 10, enemies within range of the beast cage have their dodge and magic suppression reduced. At level 20, this dodge and magic suppression reduction is increased. Then at level 30, enemies within range of the beast cage are now unable to use their ultimate abilities if they are under the effects of spiritual stagnation. Then finally, at level 40, we get a further increase to the damage dealt by allies' basic attacks. His furniture ability is Spiritual Insight. At level 3, each time he requires a stack of wood protection, his buffer will be increased. Then at level 9, each time he acquires a stack of wood protection, his insight will be increased. And finally, for his Engravings, at level 30, any beast cage on the battlefield deals the effects of Cleansing Deluge within its range, which is the ability provided by Purging Evil. Then at level 60, any beast cage on the battlefield is going to deal effects of Nature's Breakthrough within its range, which is fantastic, adding some extra stun capacity. Due to his strong survivability through his wood protection stacks, along with the control that he can provide through both his Engraving 60 and Nature's Breakthrough, it means that Atheus is a very powerful unit on any team, making him one of the strongest 4 faction heroes in the game. He can be utilized in just about any team that needs a viable tank or some stalling for the DPS to get the job done. So in this example, we're going to take a look at the team of Atheus, Mishka, Tamris, Mulan, and Raku. Now, the core of this team really is Atheus with Tamris and Mulan. These 3 can get the job done by themselves, and the remaining 2 spots are allocated for either a support or a secondary tank and another damage dealer to help get the job done in case Mulan dies. And what this team does is we have Mulan start the battle, interrupting the 3 enemy heroes in the middle. It's a very strong start to allow everyone to survive. Then we have Tamris, who jumps in and groups the rest of the enemies into that group. This allows for when Atheus does his ultimate to put every enemy in that cage and start controlling them. And this is the core system that we use. Now, in this team, we have Mishka, who can also add to the stun capacity with her ultimate, which is very fantastic and a safe option for this team. And then we've thrown Raku in this team. Raku is going to deal heaps of damage to enemies that are being controlled, and because we have so much control on this team, we are pretty safe. And with this team, as long as Atheus survives with one of his damage dealers and the enemies are all in this cage, we are pretty safe to win the battle. So we do have a few win conditions in this one. As for collections on Atheus, we do have two options. The Spell Bandage is great, especially at level 2 for PvE content. And then we have the Timeline Watch, which is fantastic once again, especially at level 2 for PvP related combat. Now, as for the stats we're looking for, ideally we try and stack some insight on these things so that we can reliably land our control effects. So with all that out of the way, how far do we want to invest into Atheus? Kicking it off with his signature item. His signature item at 30 is fantastic. He does have a really strong 40 signature item that can buff the damage dealt by his allies. However, as signature item 40 is a new thing, you may want to be saving it for some of your awakened heroes and celestial hypergeans. So leaving him at signature item 30 is perfectly fine. And if you are really strapped, you can even leave him at signature item 20 and survive pretty well. Next up is his furniture. Now, ideally, we want to get this thing to level 9 to get that extra insight to reliably land his control effects. However, if you do have a good collection on him with some decent insight stats, you can avoid this one for a little bit, but eventually it is going to be a really nice addition to have. And finally, for his engraving, ideally, we do want to take this one to 60. The fact that when he uses his beast cage, he is going to get nature's breakthroughs effects, which includes that additional stun, is going to be very powerful for him in controlling his enemies and serving his purpose for his team. So that is going to be it for Atheus, an incredibly powerful 4-faction hero who you definitely want to have on your wish list and can be very strong through the early game right through into the late game. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.